Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for stopping by. And we're going to continue the series of the utopian zero waste world that I would love to see. You know, live more, better, greener, happier. So I thought, let's talk about labels. You know, when you see all those labels that say non-GMO, organic, certified organic, Rainforest Alliance, dolphin friendly, dolphin free, all those things, fair trade, any of those kind of symbols, right? Now, companies pay to use those symbols, okay? They pay the company to get certified, okay, to use those symbols on their products. It's a good, it's a bad thing. There's many different sides. So when you see a can of tuna that says dolphin friendly or dolphin free, that tuna company paid the dolphin friendly company money to stick their picture on their tuna tin. Okay? Now, there are supposed to be rules and regulations to confirm that the tuna fishermen for that company are not catching dolphins in their net. Or, normally, they're only catching a certain amount of dolphins in their net. So it's not that they can't catch zero, it's they can catch a certain number, right? For some of the companies. Now, the problem with these certifications is that most of the time it is not checked. There's no verification. You can look into studies and stuff about it. Other times is the certification, it's so expensive. So for example, I grow food in my backyard and my food is grown organically. So I am an organic gardener, you could say. However, I am not certified. I did not pay to use that organic label. So I could never sell my stuff as organic, right? Because you have to pay to use that label and you have to get it verified. So in the future, what I would love to see is organic foods should be standard, right? It shouldn't have to be conventional and then organic. Okay? I think organic food should be normal. I think everybody should be eating organic food, and we should not have to pay more for it. It's kind of funny if you think about it, that normally, not always now, you pay more money for organic food. Why do you pay more money for organic food if the companies are not paying for pesticides to go on the food? Wouldn't it be cheaper? So I believe they're charging us more because they're paying to get certified organic, or maybe there's other reasons that I don't know about. But in general, I don't think they should be charging more for organic food. I think this should be standard across the globe. And I think that the use of crazy amounts of pesticides on our food, it shouldn't even be needed. But that's just my 2 cents. That's how I feel. Now, these labels that are being used everywhere for all kinds of products, those labels should also be standard. So, dolphin friendly tuna? Yeah, you shouldn't be catching any. Zero. You shouldn't have any what's called bycatch. If you're going after tuna, you're only allowed tuna. You're not allowed to catch everything else, right? If you're going after crabs or whatever, you can't just scoop up everything in the ocean and throw it away and kill it just to get 2 crabs. With that being said, you know, it's up to you out there what you want to eat. But I think all these labels, even Rainforest certified, non-GMO, I think that should all be normal. I think all our food should be non-GMO, including all the food that we feed animals in our agriculture. It should just be standard. We shouldn't have to pick and choose, pay for certification. We shouldn't have to watch labels. It should be normal. I wish, I hope. I hope that's how it would be. Now, I think farmers markets are another thing. I think farmers markets should be everywhere. everywhere. I think if you live somewhere and you have local farmers growing stuff, I think you should be able to buy their stuff on farm, no problem. I think they should have farmers markets set up, and communities should be pushing the buying of local and from farmers before we buy from huge like shopping centers and grocery stores. And I think if everybody also started growing their own food in their own yard or whatever, you wouldn't need so many farmers markets and so many grocery stores. Yes, you would still need them because, look, I'm in Canada, I'm in Zone 5. I can't grow citrus here. I just can't. There are parts of British Columbia that can actually grow citrus, but they can't grow enough for Canada. Okay? So we are always going to need grocery stores and stuff like that. But I think it could be greatly reduced if everybody, including the communities and your town where you live in, if they all had their own gardens, right? I also think we need communities in communities. Now, what I mean by that is, I live in a big town, and there's like a new part of town and there's an older part of town, and it's quite big, it's spaced out. So if I want to go to the local like garden plot place where I can like buy my own little plot and have my own little garden, and if I want to go to where the compost is and where the recycling is, like it's a community garden, it's very far because it's like way at the other end of town. And if you don't have transportation, you're not going to get there. So I believe we need communities in communities. So if that part of town has a big garden center and recycling and composting, and you know, you can do what you want, then I believe the other part of town should have the same thing. No matter where you live, you should be able to walk to a tiny community in your community to be able to either recycle or compost or bring your food scraps or have a little piece to grow a tomato or whatever. I would love to see that everywhere. And if there's any extra, right? Let's say I'm growing tomatoes, okay? And I grow like 50, 100 tomatoes. And I have way too many tomatoes. But you next door are growing squash. And now you're overrun with squash and you have hundreds of squash. But you have no tomatoes. And I have no squash. So we're going to trade or barter tomatoes for squash. Or if the community center, the community garden center is growing too much, they should be able to have like a little farmer stand or something. And we should be able to trade or buy, like a farmer's market, for extra produce, or produce we need. I think what's also very important is that farmers markets need to be selling only what they've grown. Okay? I know for a fact there are farmers markets who they're not growing anything personally, but they will go to a food distribution place. Okay? So they will buy a huge box of carrots, let's say, and they will take them out of the box and put them on their table and sell them to you, a normal person shopping at the farmer's market, and say they grew it. There was actually a big, I'm going to link it if I could find the video on YouTube. It has millions of views. It was a news thing in Canada that actually went to farmers markets in Toronto and found out that a lot of the places, they were lying. They were saying they were growing it and they weren't. They were buying it from food distribution center. And if you don't know, a food distribution center is the farmers grow the stuff, they sell it to the distribution center, and the grocery stores and the restaurants buy it from them and then sell it to us. So your food travels pretty far and it can exchange a lot of hands before it actually gets to you. And what I find interesting is there are parts of Canada where farmers market, it's normal. It's the same thing for the United States and even more in Europe. After doing a lot of research, people in Europe actually have access to a lot of farmers markets because it's still more normal, you know? Growing up, my grandmother and all that stuff, that was normal for them to go to the farmers market. They went to the grocery store for stuff they couldn't grow or the farmers couldn't grow. So they went to the grocery store for citrus and grapefruit and lemons and limes and stuff like that, or meat products if they weren't raising it themselves. So I would love to see all this organic food, all these labelings, all the farmers markets, communities inside communities. I would love to see this normal. And I think if we cut down on buying our food from such faraway places, it wouldn't have to be shipped in so far. We wouldn't have the emissions from the planes and the trains and the boats or whatever. I just think overall it would be better for the planet, and I think it would be better for our health and what we're eating and what goes into the food. And I know I'm going on about it a lot, but once you start digging into it, it really makes a difference. And I feel like a lot of these labels that you see on products, I feel it's a half scam. If you don't pay thousands of dollars, you can't be certified as organic, even though technically your farm is organic. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think it's just silly. I'm curious what you guys think of it. You know, a lot of people, they'll buy, oh, I'm going to buy this chocolate because it's stamped fair trade, you know, but I'm not going to buy this chocolate because it's not stamped fair trade. So this company paid for it, but this company didn't. But if you look into this company online, they're basically the same. They just haven't paid the thousands of dollars to get that little stamp. And if we abolish all these bad practices of growing, pesticides and slave labor and whatever, and we just make it normal that everything's organic and fair for everybody, we wouldn't need all these labels and to pay for these labels and to use pesticides and whatever. So I know I'm a rambler. I ramble on a lot, and I appreciate you sticking around if you stay till the end, because yeah, I know. But a girl can dream, and I always said dreams are free. And with that video, I will see you next week.